Alright, and here we are with round 2. We are jumping right into it. We have an Annihilape, Roaring Moon, Gholdengo, Maushold, Rillaboom, and Iron Bundle against Fluttermane, Arcanine-H, a Ogrepon-Wellspring, a Landorus Incarnate, a... Wow, I am really struggling with Raging Bolt, that's it, Raging Bolt, and a Urshifu. We don't know what type. I do not have the team sheets. We are here to do what we can. I'm flying Stag here on this Valentine's Day. This is round 2 of the Valentine's Day Collector's Cup tournament, the Collector Store local tournament, and we are ready to rock and roll. It looks like we have Maushold beating up into a Rage Fist boosting Annihilape. Very standard, very common, classic. You love to see it. We have Booster Energy Roaring Moon, probably with Acrobatics, probably Terra Flying. We have a bulkier Gholdengo, probably Nasty Plot setup, I would assume, with that item choice of a Citrus Berry. We have Focus Sash Iron Bundle, fast, strong, and we are jumping right into it. So, we have Tapu Nani as our perspective player versus Kuru. So let's see what our good Tapu has. Going up against a Fluttermane and Ogrepon-Wellspring, and we have Maushold and a Annihilape. So, Photosynthesis boosting speed, Proto Speed, so that is the fastest thing on the field. Instant Rage, beat up Rage Fist. Understandable. This will do huge damage. It will easily take out the Fluttermane, and if a Follow Me comes out, it will probably do big damage, if not take out the Ogrepon, depending on how it's trained. That being said, there was no Terastallization from our Annihilape. It is weak to both of the same type attack bonus options of the Fluttermane. Let's see what it goes for. No double up, just a Follow Me, wanting to protect the Fluttermane. Here's a Thunder Wave. We've been seeing that a lot so far this tournament. That could really hinder the Rage Fist coming out. Doesn't boost the rate of damage. Oh, and the Follow Me blocks the beat up. So it's just doing chip damage onto this Ogrepon and a Rage Fist at 50 base power. What? So 3 hits with beat up, probably due to the paralysis on the Annihilape, I guess. I'm a little bit confused by that. But Follow Me and Redirection is killer into this beat up Annihilape strategy. I've played it before. I can confirm the Electabuzz and Magmars that I would come up against just crippled me. So now we're seeing a Terastallization. The Annihilape has been slowed down. Here comes the Terra Water from this Ogrepon-Wellspring, changing its ability, giving it a special defense boost every time it comes in, increases the damage of its water-type Ivy Cudgel, and let's see how we're doing here. So we have a Protect immediately coming out from the Maushold, wanting to stay alive, but a Moonblast into the Annihilape is going to take it down really low. A special attack drop does give an attack boost, however, that's never going to get a chance to use it because this Ivy Cudgel is going to take out the Annihilape. This strategy was just immediately shut down from turn 1. And now we look at what we have left in the back. We have a... Okay, we are looking at the Iron Bundle coming out. So, it has a Focus Sash, it can survive a hit, guaranteed. The Maushold is there to offer support, so let's see what we're looking at. The problem is the Iron Bundle is probably faster than the Maushold unless they were trained very specifically, so I have to assume that Super Fang is going to go first, so this is probably a slower, maybe a bit bulkier Iron Bundle. A little strange with the Focus Sash, but maybe it's just modest. No, just going for Protect. I misread the turn. So, this Protect is going to preserve its Focus Sash, but doesn't fall for the Protect. A Moonblast going straight into it, but the Horn Leech is blocked by the Protect, so Maushold is going to be able to get a move off. Does go for a Super Fang, doing about 49% damage to this Ogrepon, getting it down under half. And now, the Freeze Drive from this Iron Bundle is probably going to be strong enough to take out this Ogrepon. A Follow Me will ensure that it gets this attack off. There is no spread move on the side of Ogrepon, maybe a Dazzling Gleam to break the sash, but you have to predict it at this point. But instead, Ogrepon's just going to leave and say, hey, I'll let you use Freeze Dry on something else. So, we see an Urshifu come out. I believe that is Single Strike, so fighting Dark. So it's not going to be hit super effective by this Freeze Dry. Here comes a Thunder Wave, and it misses onto the Maushold. That could be huge, and it wasn't Freeze Dry, it was Icy Wind. So now suddenly, the Photosynthesis speed boost fades, and the Urshifu is going to be guaranteed the slowest thing on the field at this point, I suspect. That miss of Thunder Wave is absolutely critical here. So, once again, it looks like an Icy Wind and a Follow Me really wanting to get some spread damage. It's a stab Icy Wind, so even though it's a weak move, weakened further by the spread damage penalty, it's still going to be doing decent damage off of the stab bonus and the raw special attacking power of Iron Bundle. So once again, you see it. Urshifu is under half, Fluttermane is at 2/3. They're both incredibly slow at this point. He's setting up for his final Pokemon to come in. And because of that Thunder Wave miss, there was no chance of a Follow Me fumble. So that Urshifu is looking really frail at this point, really slow. And that will allow the final Pokemon, this Roaring Moon, to come in, get a Photosynthesis boost, and start acrobaticsing everywhere. So we'll see how this rocks and rolls. This is, after that bad early game, it looks like Tapu Nani was able to pivot in position, pinning everything on this Roaring Moon. So let's see what he wants to do with it. They're both guaranteed going to be faster. It looks like we're clicking the Terra button and just smashing acrobatics the rest of the game here. Well, no. Okay, preserving the Focus Sash, wanting to stay strong. It's really interesting because you're always scared to click Protect into Urshifu. This is Single Strike, so it could go for Sucker Punch, try to get some last minute chip if you don't go for Protect, but if you go for Protect and it messes up, you could just get smashed through your Protect. But he switches out, Ogrepon comes back in, so that speed has been completely reset on the Urshifu. Ogrepon gets a special defense boost, so we'll see how it manages this. Here's the acrobatics, and Ogrepon lives without that terrestrialization. That's massive. Here comes a Hydro Pump again. Both Pokemon live, and that's massive because now here comes this speed drop on both of our prospective players' Pokemon. Tapu Nani's Pokemon have had their speed drop, and while they're going to be faster than the minus speed Fluttermane at this point, probably -1 speed Fluttermane, at least the Iron Bundle will be, Roaring Moon is now probably the slowest thing on the field. How are you wanting to handle that? So we see a Icy Wind wanting to be used, oh, no, okay. Sorry, a lot going on. So, Follow Me is coming out, wanting to use the last gasp of this Ogrepon to beat this acrobatics. So, the Ogrepon goes down, and by 1 speed point, I expect this Iron Bundle to be able to get this Freeze Dry off. It's going to hit, and it's going to take out this Fluttermane. So we have a Focus Sash is broken on the Iron Bundle. It is at -1 speed. The Roaring Moon is at neutral speed after accounting for the Photosynthesis speed boost. Urshifu's here, and so is Landorus. So it really comes down to speed tiers and items. So it looks like we're wanting, hey, I can just click Tailwind, ignore the speed drops, guarantee I go first, and it really comes down, it looks like, to this Icy Wind. How much damage is it going to do? It was chunking the Urshifu before, and a Terra Ice boosted one will probably be able to take it out. And 4 times super effective damage, I have to imagine that Landorus isn't going to appreciate it either. So we'll see if the 5% mischance will come into play. We already saw the Thunder Wave earlier, a 10% mischance, potentially swing this game and allow for a Follow Me to come out. But we'll see if the Icy Wind will miss, because that could radically shift this game back into the opposing prospective player's advantage. Here comes an Icy Wind. I didn't see any misses called out. We'll see if it gets a double KO, And it does. Our prospective player, Tapu Nani, takes game 1 in this round 2 of the Collector's Store League Cup here on Valentine's Day. A very, very good game. A little bit of a dicey start for Tapu Nani, but with a pivot into going all in on the Roaring Moon at the end of the game, was able to clean up all 4 of the opponent's Pokemon there in the end of the game. So Kuru's really got to consider what adjustments they want to make going forward. They locked down, they hard read the first couple of turns and stopped the Annihilape from being able to do anything with the Maushold, but that pivot was a thing of beauty. So Kuru knows exactly how they want to adjust, or if they want to adjust at all. Maybe they think that their game plan was fine and they just shouldn't have gone for Thunder Wave on the Maushold, maybe tried to take it out. Maybe they want to bring out their Arcanine to better be able to handle the flying spam from the Roaring Moon. It looks like we have the exact same squad of 4 coming from Tapu Nani. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I was wrong, Kuru is still considering. He's got 50 seconds, that's plenty of time. You're in round 2, and you're wanting to make sure that your setup is as good as you can make it. You know, you don't want to drop a game at this point. You want to progress, you want to move on, and let's see how they adjust. They both are standing by. They have made their selections, and we are moving into game number 2 of round 2 here. So, Fluttermane and Ogrepon once again are the lead of choice. We are having the exact same lead, the only difference being, I guess, the Fluttermane and Ogrepon switch spots on the field, but that's not going to be relevant in this case. So we'll see how are we going to handle this, and we are seeing an immediate adjustment. Protect from the Annihilape and Super Fang on the Maushold going into the Ogrepon, trying to chip it down early. So we'll see. We didn't see a Follow Me, so it's very likely that we see a... Nope, there's the Follow Me. The priority brackets got me a little bit mixed up. I do apologize. So here comes the Thunder Wave. Exactly the same move from the player on the opposite side of the field, but this time it was adapted to. Super Fang doing good damage to that Ogrepon, but what will happen going forward? You still have to be wary of the Follow Me, but instead, I think we're looking at Annihilape saying he'll do it himself and just buff himself up. So let's see how we will adjust. We're seeing an immediate terrestrialization. Are we trying to go for an easy early knockout? Potentially, but with Maushold using Follow Me this turn, we saw that happen. And in Body Aspect, boosting the special defense, getting the water damage, but Maushold will probably live one of these attacks, either a Moonblast or an IV Cudgel, even boosted. And so it'll take both hits to take it out. So what is Annihilape doing in the meantime? I believe I saw it go for Bulk Up, using it up. But even if it goes for Drain Punch, that'll really limit what this Ogrepon-Wellspring can do. Let's take a look. Yep, there's the Bulk Up. So really making it so it's not worried at all about what Ogrepon's doing. And we've seen that it can probably live a hit from this Fluttermane. So immediately clicking Rage Fist into Fluttermane. Looks like we're doubling up into that Pokemon, trying to get it off the field, get the threat to Annihilape removed. I see it. Nope, I cannot read. This is why solo commentary, I apologize. Protect, and trying to protect it from a Thunder Wave. But once again, the Thunder Wave comes out, crippling this Annihilape. It's stronger, sure, but it's been slowed down. We'll see if a Rage Fist comes out. And again, this Fluttermane doesn't want to hit the Annihilape if it can't take it out, because it doesn't want to power up this Rage Fist. So 50 power Rage Fist almost takes out the Fluttermane. That's actually massive, because a High Sea Wind will probably be enough to take out the Fluttermane at this point. So we have to see. It looks like we are going for that Icy Wind KO, banking on the 5% chance to not miss. It looked like a Drain Punch coming from the Annihilape. So we'll see. Do we get a special attack drop? No. Double Connect on the Icy Wind takes out the Fluttermane. That is going to slow down the Ogrepon, but with the paralysis on the Annihilape, it is likely that the Annihilape will be going slower. Here comes the Horn Leech, finishing off the Iron Bundle, getting a little bit of HP back. But we'll see. This Drain Punch coming from this Annihilape isn't going to go off. So this Annihilape is at +1 attack, but no Rage Fist boosts. So that's really dangerous. Here comes Roaring Moon. It is not as well positioned as it was last game, but it is here up against the Fighting type Urshifu. So it's got the Photosynthesis boost. It's going to be the fastest thing on the field. So how are we looking? There is a Follow Me still active. It will be able to protect the Urshifu if he wants. So what is our opposing player wanting to do? It looks like we are going to detect always a super risky thing into this Urshifu. But the Urshifu is saying, hey, I'm going to protect myself as well. So we're looking at the left side of the screen. So here's a Spiky Shield. So everyone's protecting except for Annihilape, who goes for a Drain Punch. Tries to take out the Dark-type Urshifu, but it is detected. That would have been the turn you wanted to get your bad paralysis luck on. But now, all Pokemon have already used Protect once. So what are we doing here? We know that in Acrobatics, that's not Terra Flying, won't take out the Ogrepon at this range of HP. But it looks like this one is Terra Flying. So Protect turns the Fighting type weakness into a resistance, really good into this Urshifu. Does lose the grass and water resistances that it would have against the Ogrepon, but that might be worth it because this Ogrepon is already at half health and we might be looking at the Urshifu as the bigger threat. You have another fighting type Pokemon to deal with it in the Annihilape. Remember, the Annihilape's at +1 defense, so both of these physical attackers aren't really that big of a threat. We don't see a Follow Me coming from the Ogrepon, and that's because it turns out this Urshifu is holding a Focus Sash. We didn't notice that last game. He predicts the Terastallization, goes for the Wicked Blow, and doubles up into the... Oh wow, that Terastallization really came back to bite him. He would have resisted both of those attacks with a Dragon Dark typing, but now it's a paralyzed Annihilape against the world. Going for a Drain Punch does take out the last bit of HP on the Urshifu, but what are we dealing with left? It's once again, if Kuru has a special attacker in the back, this game could be curtains, but instead it's an Annihilape, and that's going to intimidate and give an attack boost to this Annihilape. So we are looking at +2 attack, +1 defense, and nothing these Pokemon have really can do too much. That Flare Blitz does a lot of damage, even with the +1 defense. So we need this Ivy Cudgel to get a knockout, otherwise it's just going to heal everything with a Drain Punch. So how does it do? It does get that crit, cutting through the the physical defense boost, and takes out the Annihilape. Absolutely good positioning there at the end. Predicting the Terastallization on the Roaring Moon really allowed Kuru to get back into this game into a commanding position against Tapu Nani, and then once again that Ivy Cudgel, high critical hit ratio move. You don't know if that critical hit mattered. With the Terastallization, that is an incredibly strong attack even without a boost, but we'll see what adjustments we want going into this game. So we are seeing instead a different ghost type coming to the field. We see that Tapu Nani is saying, hey, I'm currently thinking that, nope, I take it all back, thinking maybe I want a different ghost type that's not affected by the Thunder Wave, but a whole reset looking from Tapu Nani. I do think that it's not a terrible call bringing the Gholdengo, just because it's not worried about speed control from Thunder Wave. But the opponent has brought a Pokemon that can handle it in being the Flare Blitzing Arcanine and the ground type move having Landorus in both games, so it is always a bit of a risk. It does look like we are leaving the Growing Moon in the back and replacing it for Gholdengo. A little bit of a different order at the front. We could see, does the opponent swap things up? No, going for the same lead every time. Fluttermane and Ogrepon, but this time it is Gholdengo and Maushold. Now, the opponent has to keep in mind that Gholdengo can just swap out in order to get a side beat up. So you have to be very careful in this position. Looks like that Ogrepon, as suspected with that Citrus Berry, is a setup variant, has Nasty Plot. So do you want to throw things into it, expecting like a Thunder Wave into it, expecting it to swap into a side beat up? Or do you want to try to take it out before it can Nasty Plot itself? You have to predict the switch correctly, because you don't want to throw moves into the... you don't want to throw attacks and boost a Rage Fist of something coming in, but you don't want to let it set up for free with the Nasty Plot. So here we see Terra Grass coming on Ogrepon. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see the moveset on the Gholdengo long enough to know what it would be worried about. Maybe just a raw Shadow Ball. Probably just the raw Shadow Ball. Not wanting to take that super effective damage. Maushold doesn't go for Follow Me, protects itself. Ivy Cudgel, let's see how bulky this Gholdengo is. Takes less than half, goes for a Nasty Plot, and suddenly it is crazy strong. So, you know, I was talking a little bit of confusion into the Fluttermane. Going Terra Grass does make it neutral to both same type attack bonus options that the Gholdengo has, so that makes sense. So we will see what is coming next. It looks like it's going, I believe I saw an attack locked in with a Nasty Follow Me, but I could be completely misremembering. Here comes a Moonblast going into the Gholdengo. Does proc the Citrus Berry, leaving it with more HP than it had before the attack, but the Citrus Berry has been consumed. So here's the Ivy Cudgel coming out, hitting the Gholdengo, does take it down pretty low, but again, Super Fang doing half damage to this Ogrepon, and here comes a Make It Rain doing big damage to both opponents. However, it doesn't take either of them out. The resistance on the Ogrepon and the full health on the Fluttermane is massive in keeping them alive. They'll both go down to another Make It Rain. It's still at a +1 Make It Rain. That's an incredibly strong attack, but will it have the opportunity to? Does this Fluttermane have some sort of spread damage to just chip down this Gholdengo? We'll see. Here comes a Spiky Shield. Here comes a Follow Me. So it looks like a Moonblast, I suspect. Yep, here comes a Moonblast. This Maushold is at full health. Gets a useless special attack drop. Another Moonblast probably won't take it out, but this Make It Rain will take out the Terastallized Fluttermane. So that's Terastallization gone. And was that enough value? Those two Moonblasts into each of the opponent's Pokemon. Was that enough value out of this Terastallization going forward? Notably, that means that we will have a Water Grass typing Ogrepon on the field. No boost to its attack, no boost to its special defense, which is important into this Gholdengo. The Gholdengo is at neutral special attack at this point after these Make It Rains. But it's just going to click it again. It's still a very strong move, even with no boosts. And that will easily be enough to take out this Ogrepon. So let's see what we're doing. So a Follow Me will prevent any sort of Sucker Punch shenanigans coming from this Urshifu. And the, wow, incredibly well trained, was wanting to get that knockout with the Ivy Cudgel, but Maushold survives at 1, forcing both attacks to go into it, and we're getting a neutral Make It Rain right here. That's going to do big damage to the Urshifu, even at neutral special attack, and it will take out the last little bit the Ogrepon had. This Gholdengo has proved its weight in gold, if you will pardon the pun. So what Pokemon's coming out next? It looks like we are seeing the Arcanine come out, and we're going to see a Water type come out as well. So the Intimidate's not going to do anything here. This isn't like last game where it boosted up the Annihilate. So we'll see. how we want to handle this. A Hydro Pump would easily take out the Arcanine, but is that the best thing to do? You don't want to rely on an 80% accurate move if you see a safer option. Remember, the Gholdengo is at low HP and at -1 special attack, but even with -1, that should be enough to take out the Urshifu if it so desires. It'll also do decent damage to this Arcanine. It will, of course, be neutral to that Steel type attack, the Fire type being resistant, but the Rock typing being weak neutralizes that out. So here's an Icy Wind. Those Icy Winds have been connecting. Someone gave this Iron Bundle accuracy download by the looks of it. Urshifu faints, and so we have single target coming out, make it rain, no spread damage penalty, big damage into this Arcanine, and it really needs to make a decision. What move did it lock into? Flare Blitz going to try to do big damage, get a burn onto this Iron Bundle. The Sash keeps it alive. A burn would take it out, but at this point I think the game's just about over. That's too much in recoil. A simple freeze dry will be able to take it out. The battle is canceled, and Tapu Nani is your winner in round 2 of this collector's store tournament. I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and I will be back with round 3. Thank you so much for watching.